Hi, welcome back to the channel, Michelle, and today I thought it would be fun to share 10 facts about me. 10 just random facts that I thought would be interesting for you guys. So, in no particular order, here they are. First fun fact. I'm married to a pastor. And why this is fun is because I grew up with no religious background. In fact, my mother purposely kept me and my brother and sister far away from the church and any religion because she had really negative experience growing up. So when I met my husband in college and he told me he was studying to be a pastor, I laughed at him because I was like, really? Who would want to do that? So about 15 years later, here we are married with 3 kids. So I'm married to a pastor. Number 2, I had a lot of weird animals growing up. My mother has always taken care of animals that were hurt or stray animals, and she's always been really good. So people in the neighborhood, if they found like a squirrel hurt or something, they'd bring it to my mother and she would take care of it. So growing up, I had 2 raccoons. My mother found raccoon babies when they were I think the mother had gotten hit by a car, if I remember correctly. So she bottle fed them and they grew up essentially in our house, in the room next to me. We had a squirrel. Again, the baby squirrel had been abandoned by its mother or dropped, and my mother again cared for it. It lived on our front porch. It would come up to us and run around. Its name was Skippy. We've had possums in the past. So yeah. For a short period when we lived in Florida, I remember going into the bathroom one day and in the tub was a baby alligator. So, grew up with really strange animals. Number 3. Speaking of alligators, I am deathly afraid of alligators. I don't know why. I've never had a bad experience with them besides, a baby alligator in my tub, but it wasn't really frightening. It was just like, oh, there's an alligator in the tub. But I have always had a fear of them. Maybe it's because growing up in Florida, I was really, really young and people always would tell me to be careful. And somewhere along the way when I was little, someone told me that if you walk in a zigzag or run in a zigzag, it's harder for the alligator to catch you. Well, my little young self, somehow that embedded in my brain, and so till this day, I don't usually walk straight. I usually slowly go back and forth, and it drives my husband absolutely insane, especially when we go shopping, because I'm not a person that just goes straight down the aisle. No, I weave in and out of the aisles and like the clothing racks and everything, and it drives him crazy, but I'm pretty sure that's the reason I do it. Number 4, when I am stressed out, I like to bake. I like to turn Cat Stevens on, blare it, and just nobody bothers me, and I just make something about creating something and then being able to eat it. It's usually something with chocolate, but that is what I do when I'm stressed out. Number 5, I was the first in my family to attend college and to graduate with a bachelor's degree. Number 6, I have a really high pain tolerance, and you think that would be a good thing, but it's actually gotten me in trouble a few times. So I have 3 kids. I've had 3 natural deliveries. I didn't use any pain medication, which you think that would be helpful. But because I don't really have issues with pain, it's really hard for me to tell when I need to go to the hospital when the baby's about to come, because usually it gets pretty intense right before baby comes, but I don't really have that issue. So for my second child, I think I was at the hospital about 10 minutes, and she came, and the doctor had to haul thank God the doctor was in the hospital on that floor, or he would have missed it. He came running in, didn't have time to glove up or anything, just literally had time to catch the baby, and that was it. With my third, I thought it would go better because, it's my 3rd baby, I have a better handle on it, and we only lived 10 minutes from the hospital. No, that was not the case. The doctor didn't even make it this time. So, got into the hospital, got upstairs, nurse was in the room. I said, oh, baby's coming. Of course they didn't believe me because if I'd only been there 10 minutes. And lo and behold, again, the nurse didn't have time to glove up or put any of the scrubs or whatever the doctor wears so they don't get all that stuff on them. Nope, gave birth right there. Nurse delivered the baby, and poor nurse, was covered in all of it. And yeah, so that has gotten me into trouble. Also, last year I had a really bad sinus infection. And again, it wasn't really painful for me, so I didn't think it was that bad, but my sinuses started swelling up, actually. So I went to the doctor, like, yeah, this is a pretty bad infection. You need to be on antibiotics. I was like, oh, okay. So it's gotten me into trouble having such a high pain tolerance. Number 7. People always assume I'm much younger than I am. I've had people tell me so many times, you'll appreciate this someday when you're older. Well, I'm currently 35 and still waiting for that day to come. And it's been annoying at times because before I had children, I worked in a school, and for some of it, I worked in the high school. And it was so annoying because teachers would constantly think I was a student. So I remember one time using the faculty bathroom, one of the teachers yelled at me saying students weren't allowed in there, and I had to literally show her my faculty ID to convince her that I was actually working at the school and not a student. Same thing when I got pregnant with my daughter. I looked like a younger mother, apparently, walking around in a high school, so I would get these stares, and it's like, I'm married and 26, I don't know why you're judging me. So it was an interesting experience, and it's been kind of funny at times. My husband has the natural ability to look much older than he is, even though he's only 2 years older than me. He's 37, but he's always looked older than he is. I've always looked way younger. So we've had we have had a few instances where people have thought he was my dad, even though we are 2 years apart. So, fun fact. Number 8, I very rarely cry. I'm not a crier, it's not how I express my emotions, but whenever I read or watch the movie Charlotte's Web, I hysterically bawl. At the end where Charlotte dies, and then her children start going off, and it's something about that movie / book just bring it all out of me, and I hysterically cry. It got so bad the last time I read it with my daughter, she's like, Mom, are you okay? I'm like, yes. So I don't know what it is about that book, but if I read it or if I watch it, I hysterically cry, even though I normally don't cry about anything. Alright, number 9. I am right-handed. I do everything right-handed, but for some reason, I use scissors with my left hand. I cut and use scissors with my left hand. I have no idea why I do this, and it wasn't actually brought to my attention until I was working in that school, and one of the teachers is like, well, that's interesting, you cut left-handed. I'm like, never thought about it. I have no idea where I learned it or why it was never brought up, but I'm right-handed for everything, but I use scissors with my left hand. And number 10, when I was younger, probably under 3, I actually drowned in a swimming pool. Now this was the late 80s, so my, 8 or 9-year-old sister at the time was supposed to be watching me while my mom was out working. And of course she didn't because, you know, siblings. So she had her friends over and they were playing at a pool because we had a pool in the backyard. And I don't really remember what happened, but my sister tells me that she looked over and she saw me at the bottom of the pool. So they pulled me out. I wasn't breathing. They didn't know what to do because, again, 8, 9-year-old probably shouldn't be left responsible for a child. But hey, late 80s. And then I just suddenly started breathing. So, and of course, do you think my sister told my mom about what happened? Nope, didn't tell her. I found this out probably in my 20s. My sisters are like, oh yeah, by the way, you kind of drowned when you were little. Sorry about that. So, I don't really remember any of it. I don't have issues with water now. So, those are 10 interesting facts about me. Thanks for watching.